Hi, I'm going to be walking you through Surgical Services flammable preps and a couple of the items that we use in the hospital that I work. I'm Mark, and I do work in Surgical Services in the operating room. So I have a couple of things on my field here. I have water, I have alcohol, and I have ChlorPreps. ChlorPreps are the ones that we use in my hospital. There's also DuraPrep. ChlorPrep and DuraPrep are both part prep and part alcohol. So the alcohol is a flammable component, and that's what you have to be careful of. So as you see, my containers are labeled, and this is something that people wanted to see me do, so I'm going to do this just to show you. So if you take alcohol and you put your fingers in there and rub it around a little bit, you can light your finger on fire. It burns off the alcohol real fast, so then after that it's on the skin or your clothing. So same thing in the operating room. If the alcohol burns off of the patient, the next thing it's hitting is the tissue or the drapes or the gown or the sheets or anything like that. So if you put your finger in here, it goes up, and you can put it out quick with the water. So that's why you always need to be aware of what you have on your field. That's why everything has to be labeled, because alcohol and the water look the same. And if I had a fire and dip my finger back in here, that would make things a lot worse. So the other thing I want to go over is the ChlorPrep. The ChlorPrep are the preps that we have in our hospital. Like I said, it's partly CHG and rubbing alcohol. If you pop the top off of one of these and open it up, you'll find out that what's in here, there are actually two of these, but there are two tubes of alcohol and CHG. So if you see that, there's a lot of alcohol in there, and there's a whole second tube in there. And then the coloring is down here, and that's what gives it the orange glow or green or just clear for different ones. So what I wanted to do was open up one of these ChlorPreps and just show you that it is very flammable. Now I don't have a bovie, so I'm just going to have to use a lighter. If you take this, and I already cracked this one just to move things along a little bit quicker. If you take this, and if you would get this onto your drapes or on your laps or your Raytech or the patient's gown or in their hair, it will burn. I think you can probably see that flame, and it goes up pretty good. If you take the ChlorPrep, that also burns very well if you have the ChlorPrep stick. So it's just showing how much alcohol is in there. So one more time, just to make my pad really nice and wet. And they do say about dry times and how important they are. We go by the standard. There you go. And if that's underneath your drapes on the patient, that's going to be a serious issue. Now if you want to see the right way to do it, to put it out, what you want to do on your field is you want to take a blue towel and do it not towards you, and you can smother it like that and put it right out like that too. So that's one way to put out your fire if you have a fire on the field. So that will take care of that. The next thing is that if you do have a fire on your field, you want to get it out as quick as you can. You can use a blue towel, you can use your water that's on your field, or there's fire extinguishers in the rooms. One thing I always remind people of is when you go in your room for the beginning of the day, always look and see where your fire extinguisher is, because you might have one in the room, it could be outside the room, but you always want to make sure you know where that is before you need it instead of when you need it, because if you look for it when you need it, there's going to be a lot of confusion in the room and a lot of things going on. So you want to make sure that you do it before. So this is what the pad looks like with the ChlorPrep on there, and as you can imagine, that could be the patient's hair, their skin, their gown, or anything like that. So just to run through it one more time, this is how well ChlorPrep burns. It doesn't take much of a flame, it pretty much goes up right away. If you want to see the difference, I can take like a regular lap pad and hit it with the flame, and it doesn't go up the same as the one with the ChlorPrep does. With that one, it's instantaneous. So you want to get that fire out as quickly as you can if you have one, but the best thing you can do is make sure the prep is dry. Once again, it's not necessarily 3 minutes, it could be an hour in a hairy area, and you want to make sure that prep is dry. If there's ever that question, it's you wait till the prep is dry. And I think that's all that I have for you. If you have any questions, we'll run through that now that I've finished this up. And thank you very much for your attention.